Hello and welcome to Norwood Digest, NCM's news magazine show. I'm your host, Jack McCarthy. I'm going to start right away with some of our good friends from the Skating Club of Boston. We have Doug Zegheib, who's the CEO, and I did it backwards, Mia Bailey, not Bailey Mia, Mia Bailey, who's the club director. Is that the right title? So, first of all, welcome.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
second of all, I mean, you guys have been through it, most recently with that horrible crash that happened and really affected you guys in a very meaningful, heavy way.
Yeah.
How's everything going?
I mean, I think we look at it as our lives in so many ways are now defined by before and after January 29th. I think as a club community, we are doing the best that we can right now. We've had amazing support, outpouring from across the nation, as well as locally here in Norwood, which has been amazing. But ultimately, we're there for each other. We support ourselves and one another throughout this whole process. We've had an amazing response from American Red Cross, brought in grief counselors, therapy dogs. But we've got work to do. We've got our eye on the World Championships in March. So pulling together as a community to keep moving forward.
Yeah. Now, what was the biggest surprise that we talk about all the support and outpouring of affection? What was the thing that you just didn't realize it would be that much?
I think one thing that got me was the moment of silence at the Bruins game with the club logo up on the Decktronics. I think the support of the leadership of the town of Norwood, Tony Mizuko in particular, amazing. The support for Max Naumoff and his family, just unbelievable. Makes you appreciate so much being part of this town. And then outreach literally from around the world. So it made you realize not just the skating community, but just how much the extended community cares. And that actually does give you some relief.
Oh yeah, I can imagine that. But the thing is, you've been such a great neighbor to us. It's so we recognize that, and I think we try to reciprocate.
It was there.
It was felt in a big way.
Yes, no, I'm glad, but it's too bad it had to happen that way.
But it's sometimes good to know, however sliver it is, that there's a silver lining. Right? That there's some good in this insane, wrecked tragedy.
Right. So, not to quickly change subjects, but you brought up the Worlds.
Of course.
What does that mean to have the Worlds here in Boston?
It's huge. Second to the Olympics, this is the largest figure skating competition in the world. And some would say the Olympic season is the most important. Others within the sport would say the season prior to the Olympics is one of the most important. The competitors that we'll see in late March at the Garden are going to be vying for spots for their countries at the Olympic Games. So that's why people say it's a little bit more important. But coming back, the last time it was hosted in the U.S. was in 2016, right here in Boston. So
is that unusual to have it in the same city?
I have to say it's a big deal. No one thought the club could bring it back to the U.S. into Boston. After a 9-year cycle, it's a pretty competitive event for host cities. And I think it really was the turnout in 2016. It was, I'm proud to say of our team, it was a really well-organized event. And the ISU, the International Skating Union, and U.S. Figure Skating was like, we're bringing it back. Boston is a great, great market and audience for figure skating.
That's fantastic. So, just out of curiosity, where has it been? Is it every year, or is it every year before the Olympics?
Annual event.
Okay.
Sometimes the dates will flux a little based on when the Olympics are. Last year it was in Montreal.
Okay.
So we actually sent a team up there.
Yeah.
We've been selling tickets for 2 years now.
Yep. It's been in Japan, Helsinki, Moscow, other cities in Canada, France. It literally travels the world. Seoul, Korea.
It's funny, you think you know stuff, but it's just hitting me what a big deal this really is,
Yeah.
Giving the places it's been.
Yeah.
And I would imagine, as you said, this is sort of, if you don't do well here, you're not in the Olympics next year, right? Most likely.
Most likely. And I mean, I can let Doug speak to the business of just how big it really is, but I think it's also big for Norwood. We've got a hometown team in the pairs event, Alisa Efimova and Misha Mitrofanov, who just won the national title in Wichita. So above being so proud to host this event. We're deeply excited about our entry too.
So,
I'm really proud of them too.
yeah, does that make them like a favorite for the?
They're looking pretty good. They're a newer team.
Yeah.
So it's hard to break through. But this, again, is a critical year for them. And with that national title, for them to hang their hats on, they're in for big stuff.
That's great.
They placed well at this event. It really does set them up stronger to make the U.S. Olympic team next year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird judging, right? It's not like it's not like you're
Well,
timed.
you say weird.
Well, I'm used to looking up at the scoreboard
Yeah.
and they won 98 to 97.
Right.
But this is, I imagine, doing well in this kind of puts a positive spin in the judges, not on purpose, but kind of.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I definitely agree with that.
It's a complicated system. We'll say that. 6.0 versus IJS, the international judging system. So it's got two components to it. You're looking at the technical prowess of the athlete or the team on the ice, but then also their artistic ability. So it's a game of numbers. And we've got some serious gamers. So it can be complicated to understand. I think that's our job as hosts as well as the TV broadcasters to better explain how they're building those points throughout their program and ultimately why they end up with those results.
Okay. So let's talk about the event. How many days, nights is it?
So it's the 25th through the 30th. That's a Wednesday through a Sunday. The competition is Wednesday through Saturday. And then Sunday, there's a show that we actually produce and create. That's an exhibition of all the champions and medalists from the week.
Okay.
And then there's 4 disciplines. It's pairs, women's, men's, and dance.
Okay.
And pairs opens it on Wednesday night, the pairs short program, and then their free skate the next day. And each of the disciplines has 2 programs, a short program and a free skate or a long program. Short programs are required technical elements. They're slightly shorter, but I would say they're more nerve-wracking because you miss an element, you're automatically losing major points, and you can be the best skater out there on previous performance, and you can be at the back of the pack.
Yeah.
The short programs are brutal, but I think for watching, they're the most exciting.
And yeah, let's say I couldn't get tickets. Is it who's carrying it, or is anybody?
NBC Sports,
Okay.
Peacock, anything in the NBC family. But we do still have tickets, especially.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
I
How do I
talk
get
about the
them?
Pairs event, which opens it. And I should say, on Wednesday evening, before the Pairs short program, there will be a tribute and a remembrance put together by the International Skating Union for folks we lost in the crash. It looks like Governor Healy will be there, and Mayor Wu, and other dignitaries. And it's going to be a nice remembrance. I'm actually looking forward to that because I think it's going to continue to help bring closure. And we're hoping to see great turnout for it. But then it's followed by one of my favorite events, which is the short program for pairs. And pairs is exciting because you have the guy and you have the girl, there's lifts, he's chucking her across the ice in these throws, they're doing side-by-side jumps. It's a fun event.
Yeah, and it's amazing how athletic you have to be to do that.
And you're supposed to make it look easy.
Right. Yeah, and graceful.
Yep.
Oh, don't forget that.
But that's crazy. So let's that Wednesday. That's a must see.
I think it's a must see,
Yeah.
and then if you like it, you can come back for the free skate on Thursday night. And the great thing about this event is we've priced it so you can get into TD Garden for as little as $30.
Oh wow.
So it's really been designed to be open to everybody.
And how do I get tickets?
Ticketmaster.
Okay. Just like
Ticketmaster.com.
everything else.
Yeah. Everything goes through Ticketmaster, right?
Right. So what else do we want to talk about?
We've got other events coming up at the club. Stars on Ice, which is a large national tour, is for the first time coming to the club Memorial Day weekend, Saturday the 24th. And it's not signed and sealed yet, but there's a really good chance that Max Nomoff of Norwood will be performing.
Oh, nice.
Which I think could be a really exciting thing for the folks in Norwood.
Yeah. And if you haven't gone down to the skating club, it's really something. Let's just tell the people about it. It's 3 sheets of ice.
3 sheets of ice. I mean, we're really proud of it. I actually worked for US Figure Skating prior to coming to the Skating Club of Boston, so I've traveled the country. There's no facility like it across this country and arguably the world. But in addition to the events that we have, we run an amazing skating academy as well. So year-round, learn to skate lessons for all ages and all abilities. And so if you feel inspired by the World Championships, you can certainly come down and take lessons too. But Jack, to your point, we welcome visitors. We'd love to give folks a tour. We have an amazing history wall. I mean, we're an over 100-year-old club. that now has rested in Norwood. So it's something to check out.
And who's the main performance center is named after?
Tenley Albright, Olympic champion.
And so, yeah, tell us a little bit about that, about Tenley.
Tenley is...
Because I remember you and I have had this discussion before.
Dr. Tenley Albright.
Right.
Dr. Tenley Albright, one of the club's longest members, and she's coming up on the 70th anniversary of her Olympic win, and she was the first American to win a gold medal, first woman to win a gold medal in figure skating. And next year's Olympics are returning to where she won hers in Cortina. So hoping to meet her there. She's at the club frequently. Just such a poised, graceful, generous soul. And still loves this sport at every level.
Yes.
And she'll be at the World Championships. Other famous skating folks, Peggy Fleming, Dorothy Hamill, Brian Boitano, Scott Hamilton. It's sort of like a who's who reunion when it comes back to the States.
Yeah, and I don't know why I feel this way, but I feel like it's kind of a close-knit community.
Close-knit's the word that's been in the news quite a bit. It is. We use the word family, and we don't use that in a naive way. It really is a close-knit family. We speak our own language in many cases. But it's a family that we're proud of, and like I said at the start, we support one another, and we've really felt that in the past couple of weeks. And just going back to Tenley for a moment, and those support systems that we've had, Tenley came to the club almost every day after the incident.
The morning after the incident, she was there for the first press conference.
Yeah, speaking with us, speaking with our families, our members, has just been an amazing pillar of support for the community.
And what was her, I'm trying to remember because you told me the story. What's she a doctor of?
She was a surgeon.
Sorry, that's what I thought.
Yeah, she was a surgeon. She went to Harvard Medical School.
Yeah.
And she's still...
I just wondered, one of the things that she accomplished I'd like to do.
I like to say that she replaced podium with platform and has just done so much for the world, global humanitarian, education. She's somebody who really cares.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad that you guys were able to honor her that way.
Oh, yeah. No, it was good. And I should say, our skating family is expanding. The International Skating Union has visited us, so impressed with the facility that they want to bring a World Cup short track event to the skating club in October.
Cool.
So if folks are into speed skating and short track, I think we're going to have a pretty impressive event the last weekend in October.
Wow. Geez, every time I talk to you, there's something new and exciting going on down there.
We got to keep it fresh.
Yeah, I guess.
Absolutely.
So one thing I just want to, if you haven't gone down, you should. And, as we were starting, the Mustang hockey team beat Dartmouth 10-2, and you guys are gracious.
Crushed.
And you guys are kind enough to, host them. That's their home home rink. So
it's good to have them. Everybody's great. It's a good group.
All right. Anything else?
I think we covered it.
No, I'll just say about World Championships, if you want to see skating at its very, very best, just check it out. Find an event. You can go to isuworlds2025.com, see a schedule, all things about it, but tickets are available on Ticketmaster.com.
Yeah, and these performers, athletes, they're Olympians. So you're gonna see them in person, and then you'll be watching them on TV at the Olympics. So it's worth the trip. And $30, come on. Anything else?
I'd say check out scboston.org as well. So beyond the Worlds, our schedule keeps pumping, whether it's Learn to Skate, Public Skate, special events. But to your point, come by, see us.
Yeah, it's a great, you won't be sorry because the venue's just great.
Beautiful.
So.
Thank you.
All right, thank you guys for
being with us. It's always fun to be here, so
thanks.
Thank you.
And we'll be back. Actually, you know what we're going to do? We're going to check out the latest update on the construction at the Coakley Middle School. So check it out. So if you're looking at me and you feel like you want to take out a book, it's because we're in the media center at the Coakley Middle School. And lots been done since last time. I feel like I say that every time, but a lot's been done since we visited with you, Bethany, from WT Rich. So tell us what's been going on.
I think I say the same thing every time too, a lot. You'll see a lot of finishes going up right now. We are in that final stretch right now of finishes. A lot of punch list above ceiling work before we're whiting out the ceilings that we're starting on the upper floors now, so those ceiling tiles are going in. Once that's done, we're going to do some finished paint, get some cleaners in there, right? So we've been doing a lot. We've been doing a lot of starting up of equipment, electrical is going live, lighting's been going live, and we're just working our way down the building. We just took the dance floor down in the auditorium, so we're getting that area ready to finish. So there's a lot of different areas of this project, but we're hitting them all.
So remind people, we talked about it last time, the dance floor. What do you mean by that?
Sorry, yes, the scaffolding. We installed scaffolding in the auditorium because right now the auditorium is stepped and pitched to accommodate the fixed seating that will eventually go in there. So to make that all flat so people could work off those spaces, we put scaffolding up to level that out. So that's now out of the way, so now we can start to some finishes in
And
there.
apparently after hours, they turn it into a disco. That's why they call it the dance floor. I might have made that up. So we were up on the 4th floor. We look at, that's further along than we're on the 2nd floor now, right?
Yep.
So I noticed in 2 sections we walked around, there was a green 8 and a yellow 8. What was that all about?
It's gold, I learned.
So sorry.
Gold, not yellow. We have gold, green, and blue, and we've talked about the zones of the building. It's the building split into thirds. Each zone has a different color, and each floor is a different grade. So you have 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and then each zone you have green, blue, and gold. So what you see going up now is wallpaper with some numbers, right, labeling where you are, but we also have wall colors that match. We have floor colors that match. Some of the wall tile matches. So the color scheme follows you through that space.
Yeah, so if you're on the gold or the green team, you just got a sneak preview of part of what if you're 7th grade gold, and you've got a sneak preview of what the 8th is going to look like.
Yeah.
All right, so walking around, we saw the gym. They're putting in the floor.
The floor is going in.
So acclimation has taken place. But I don't know why I get obsessed with acclimation. First of all, tell the folks what acclimation is on this.
It's when we bring the wood floor into a space so it gets used to the environment it's going to be in. We actually have some humidifiers in there now. And yeah, it's been here for about 3 weeks at this point, and they had laid it all out and spread it out. So what they're doing now is actually nailing it in place. So it's not, we're going to work into sanding and finishing, but right now they're just getting it all set.
So maybe next time I'll be able to shoot a hoop from there. Well, actually, we should let Megan do it because she's a way better shot than I. All right, what else we got up there?
Upstairs, honestly, we're pretty close to just shutting the doors and locking it and staying out of that space. Again, there's some testing and balancing and equipment work, a lot of inspections that we have to do, a lot of what's called commissioning of systems to make sure they're operating correctly. So that's really going to be our focus from now until June. We've also started meeting with some of the site work subs because it's going to be warm before we know it. So
when we were walking around, we saw that in the kitchen area, there was a lot of equipment.
Yep, kitchen equipment's here on the 3rd floor and the 1st floor. So you have a 7th and 8th grade kitchen with a commons on the 3rd floor. Then you have 5th and 6th grade down on the 1st floor with the commons down there. And yeah, all the equipment's here, so they're starting the tie-ins of all that equipment.
Okay. And, since we're in the media center, just over my right, well, not over my right shoulder, but around the corner is the TV studio. So tell us about that.
Yeah, it's honestly right now it looks like every other room in the place, but it's dark, has some dark ceilings in there, and it's all prepped with lots of in-wall work, right, to get you access to other spaces. So I know there's a lot of work between that and the auditorium space that the NCM will be using in the future.
So change subjects a little. Next month is part of Women in Construction. Is it
Correct.
A week or the whole month? I forget.
It's the first week of March.
Okay. So you have some news about a W.T. Rich employee who is on this job.
Yes, our lead carpenter, Cheryl, who's been on the job since we started, and she's here every single day full time. She won Tradeswoman of the Year. So Cheryl's been in construction for 30 plus years. She's done a million different things in her career. She's been a teacher, she's been a superintendent, and she's back to just doing carpentry because that's what she loves, working with her hands every day. In case anyone's watching wants to go look Tough as Nails on CBS. Cheryl was a contestant on season 5 of Tough as Nails. So my kids watch that and they think she's a celebrity.
Oh,
but yes,
because she is a celebrity.
she is. And this year she's been being honored by AGC's Building Women in Construction for Women in Construction Week, specifically for Tradeswoman of the Year. So that's pretty exciting here.
And AGC is, I think it's Association of General Contractors?
Correct. And it's a nationwide group, but
Right.
part of the local Boston branch. Yep.
And good friend of mine, John Ferrante, is the executive director of that. And when I was at MSBA, I worked very closely with him and his group. So great people.
Small construction world for sure.
That is for sure. So thank you for being with us.
You're welcome.
And we'll be back with Luke from Vertex. I almost said Compass again. Luke from Vertex to see what's coming up. as promised, Vertex's finest, Luke Capone. What can we expect in the next month or so?
Sure. So basically the same activities that Bethany mentioned are going to continue kind of in that cycle and sequence mode of construction where up on the 4th and 3rd floor, we receive sign off from the building officials in town. So we're starting to flood those ceilings, which is install all the white ceiling tiles to fill up the ceilings to make it look like a totally complete space. And then we'll be able to do some punch list items, do some touch-up painting, and then lock those doors and walk out of those rooms and wait for the students to arrive in September. Down on the 1st floor is where we're seeing a lot of our activity in the kind of one-off specialty spaces where we have hardwoods going down in the gym. Then those will be finished in the next month, and then we'll be finishing the surface of that floor. In the auditorium, we're seeing the finishes for that space go in. The ceiling has been completed. We're seeing wall finishes now with some wood paneling. And then we'll see the seating arrive, auditorium seating arrive in the next 6 weeks, month to 6 weeks. And then also on the 1st floor, we have the black box theater, which is coming along with the ceiling being installed in that space as well. And then the typical classrooms on the 1st floor are seeing their, the same items, the counters, casework, and flooring, and things like that.
So how's it look to turning the building over in June?
Very good, very good. We're heading right towards that, and again, turning the building over in early June to get some of the principal and some of her staff in here working out of the summer, and then getting the owner's team in here to do some of the AV startups and things like that. And then we'll be ready for students end of August, early September.
Cool. I should have asked Bethany this, but it's like in the teens outside, but it's very comfortable in here. But I don't see anything. Where's the heat coming from?
So we're pumping in heat in both ends of the building. We have outdoor units bringing in heat that are running up the stairwells to heat the building. Obviously, this building is very efficient with the insulation and the exterior wall, so we're holding heat very well. And then we're starting to begin to turn on the heating and cooling units in the building to run those, test those, commission those over the next month, 2 months to get that process going. But we will be running the temporary heat throughout the winter.
And I forget, who's the commissioning agent?
Commissioning agent is...
Never should have asked them that question.
We have FST is our exterior commissioning consultant, and they are also doing the interior.
Okay.
So FST through the MSBA.
Didn't mean to try to stump you
No,
there.
that's all right. We've got a couple different people on the project.
All right, anything else?
No, that's it.
All right, well, we have a special treat. You heard Bethany talk about the Woman Construction Person of the Year, and she's going to be right back with us. As promised, I'm back with a celebrity, Cheryl Lido, who is the 2025 Tradeswoman of the Year in Massachusetts. Or is it the whole world?
I think it's just Massachusetts, but I'm honored either way.
So you get the award next month, I guess.
Yes, March 6th.
And how do you get it?
Actually, I don't know, but apparently my team at WT Rich nominated me, as well as someone from Building Pathways, which is a pre-apprenticeship program where I teach part-time in the fall. They nominated me and some personal friends, and it's exciting.
Yeah, I can see that it is. And I'd be excited. As a matter of fact, I am excited for you.
Thank you.
So you talked a little bit about your teaching, but you've had kind of an extraordinary career, in my humble opinion. Tell us about it.
Well, I've been at it for 35 years, so I've done a wide range of things. I started out as an apprentice, not really knowing much about construction. I had some hands-on skills because I went to art school and I majored in sculpture, so I had some tool experience. But I went through the 4-year apprenticeship. I graduated, no problems. About 10 years in, I became a foreman on the Big Dig. Really enjoyed that. It was very hard at the time. We're talking 2000 actually at this point. And then I just kept working and taking advantage of any opportunity that came. As a superintendent, I became a teacher. I ran my training program that I graduated from. And really, I'm looking forward to the next few years where I can just do my job and hopefully retire.
So Bethany said that your first love is carpentry. And now it makes sense being from an artist because you use your hands. So is that what you're back to doing?
Well, my first love is my wife.
Okay.
And my second love is carpentry. But I love working with my hands. And yes, again, I mentioned that I was at a school. I was running a school. It was too administrative for me. And I really just had to choose to go back into the field so that I could just enjoy my final years.
Yeah, to me, that's a very interesting segue from art into carpentry. Like, what inspired you for that?
Well, I've always wanted to work with my hands. As a matter of fact, when I was in high school, I had the opportunity to take what was called industrial arts at the time, which was shop class.
Right.
But my father was like, no daughter of mine. That's actually what he said to me. And I was like, what do you mean? So I had to take home ec. I already knew how to cook and sew.
Yeah.
So anyway, that drive and that desire to use tools, make things, never left me. So I could have gone on to college to become an engineer because I was really good at that, but I saw art school and I was like, I'll do that. Looks like fun.
Yeah, I bet it was. Now, I don't know. I don't want to go there because we'll be here all day if I start talking about your artwork. So we're kind of pumped here in Norwood to have the Tradeswoman of the Year working on our school. So that's exciting for us. And so all I can say is congratulations, good luck. Do you have to give a speech on the same? Oh, wait a minute. I knew there was one thing I wanted to talk about. You're also a TV star.
I am a TV star.
So tell us about that.
I was on season 5 of Tough as Nails, which is a reality competition show. And it's a unique show in that it takes average people who are working in trade type of industries. Actually, it's not just construction. It could be agriculture. We've also had police people, nurses, things of that. But generally, you're a blue-collar worker. And they come together at various locations and they compete against each other as a team. They also compete against each other as individuals, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I was going to say, what was it like?
It was very stressful because
Yeah.
You're like in it. You're immersed and you have to perform like nothing you've ever experienced before in your life. But it was also just great to meet these new people and form bonds immediately and form a team that can just go at it. And I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm just going to encourage people to watch season 5.
Okay.
of
So
Tough as
what
Nails.
was the most interesting challenge that you had to do on the show? If you're going to spoil something, don't tell us.
We had a variety of challenges, and the most interesting one, I think, was when we had to build a playground on Native American land for the children of that community. And there was a variety of projects there, and it was technical, and but it was also just really enriching because we knew who was going to enjoy the product.
Right. That's awesome. Once again, congratulations. Thank you so much for allowing us to talk with you today. And we totally caught her off guard today. So Cheryl learned about 5 minutes before we started that we asked her to do this. So you're being a good sport, and thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, and we'll be back with more Digest after this. Welcome back to Norwood Digest. And if you've seen the show, you know who my next guest is. It's Patti Fanning, who has written several books about the history of Norwood, among other things. But here we're here to talk about the Old Parish Preservation Volunteers, and they have a big event coming up in April. Before we talk about the event, tell us a little bit about the group.
Okay, well, we started Old Parish Preservation Volunteers about 7 years ago now. And we saw a need to take care of the Old Parish Cemetery. You know, it is a dormant cemetery, and the gravestones were in disrepair. They needed cleaning. They were sort of tilted. So we meet. We call them work days, but they're Saturdays from 8:30 to 10:30. 5 Saturdays in the spring, and 5 in the fall, and we do just that. We clean the stones, reset them. We've probed around, you're going to hear more about this later as I understand it, and have restored the cemetery. We've received some CPA money, and there's a new fence. It was a chain link fence for a long time, and so the new fence is in the process of going up, and it's become a really wonderful little green space in the center of town. So we're really proud of it.
As you should be. And I think, I remember 7 years ago, because you came on the show to talk about putting it together and the first volunteer opportunities. And I didn't realize you met that often now.
Yeah, well, it's just 5 weeks.
I know, but
5
it's still-
Saturdays. And people just come. Just if anybody wants to come, they can just come at 8:30, and we give them a
And when do you,
shovel and-
well, is that what the event is kicking that off or no? Okay.
Well, not really. We'll start on April 26th. That will
Okay.
be the first this spring, and then that will go till Memorial Day. So, the last Saturday before Memorial Day, then we get flowers on the
Right.
graves of the veterans and that sort of thing. And then in the fall, it's 5 weeks before Veterans Day.
Makes sense, yeah.
It's too hot in the summer, it's too cold in the winter, and people just, it's great. We have a great group,
Yeah,
and they just
and,
come.
and those are perfect dates to get everything ready
yeah,
for. So.
yeah. And if you want to come, you just come, and then you still have your Saturday,
Yeah,
you know,
good point.
to yourself.
So tell us about this event then.
So this year, on April 19th, which is a week before we begin our usual work days, we've decided to hold a special event. It's April 19th, 2025, which is the 250th
Right.
anniversary of April 19th, 1775. And we want people to realize that this is something that the shot heard around the world, of course, is how people think of it. But this is something that didn't happen just in Lexington and Concord. The alarm went out, and they sort of took a circuitous route back around to Dedham. People in Dedham didn't hear about it until 9 in the morning. But 60 men left from South Dedham. They all mustered in Dedham, and then they were stationed along the road to fire upon the retreating British. So 60 men from this area heard the alarm and went out, and 20 of them are interred in Oak Parish Cemetery.
Oh, you just anticipated my next question.
So we're going to have a celebration of that. We have the Colonial Boys who will lead a procession or a parade from Town Hall parking lot along Central Street into Oak Parish Cemetery, and then we will have a ceremony there. General Manager is going to speak, Director of Veteran Services is going to speak. We're hoping to have a student from the schools to read an abridged version of Paul Revere's Ride. We'll place flowers on the graves, play a few more tunes. It won't take long, but it will be a good celebration. We're trying to get some elementary students involved, because they, of course, learn about the American Revolution
Sure.
in, I think, the 3rd and the 5th grades. So we're talking to some of the teachers who seem excited about maybe are visiting the classes to get the kids kind
cool.
of excited, and then they can be part of the procession and part of the celebration.
Now, are they reading Johnny Tremaine that young?
I have no idea.
Do you remember that book?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like one of my favorite books growing up.
Yeah.
I loved the American Revolution when I was a kid.
Yep.
So that's an exciting, let's talk about the April 19th. And
April 19th.
it's funny because
10 o'clock in the morning.
it just hit me the other day when I was reading something in one of the newspapers about, they're saying, that the state's not doing a great job of recognizing the 250th anniversary. And here you are, you're way ahead of it as usual.
Well, I think, it's going to be pretty big in Lexington and Concord.
Yeah.
They're expecting like hundreds of thousands of people or whatever. But in particular, especially the school children, but the people who live here, you need to know, well, it didn't just happen there.
Right.
We're part of history too. And it's kind of exciting to think about it, that, they must have had, this is 1775, but there was a pretty well organized alarm system that everybody knew what they were going to do
Except for the people in Dedham.
when it happened. They all, when they set the alarm and they got to Dedham, well, they went around from Lexington, Concord, I guess, to Sudbury, Framingham. They came back down around into Needham and split off. Some people went to Newton, some people went to Dover, and then into Dedham to sound the alarm. And then the guys took their, own rifles and headed out.
Yeah. Could you imagine trying to do something like that today?
I can't imagine it.
No, me either.
And they managed to do it. So it's pretty exciting to be able to sort of pay tribute to those who were here, and they're the usual suspects, as you can imagine. There's Deans and Everetts and Gilds and Sumners and Morses and all those street names.
Right. Yeah, that's another thing, especially if you're a young. If you ever wondered why is that called Moore Street?
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
you'll find out.
Right, for
you
all
know.
the families that were here.
Right.
So we're really, it's going to be fun, we think. So it starts at 10, and the alarm will be sounded by the Carillon bells.
Oh, cool.
And then the Colonial Boys will head down, which is also perfect.
Is Lee Leach going to be the Carolina?
He will.
Yeah. That's I haven't. You know what? I should do that again. I haven't been up there with him. I bet you it's 15 years since the
Really?
last time I was up
So
there
you haven't
with
been
him.
there since the refurbishing.
Oh, maybe we did. We did one on that, I think. Or I think it was when they were going out, but I don't think we did it when we came back. But anyway, that's for another day. So I think we got everything that
I
you
think we
wanted to
got
do?
everything. It's April 19th, 10 o'clock in the morning. Come down, cheer on the parade, come in and see the ceremony. And then the following week, we start our work days.
All right. Well, thank you, Patti, for being with us. And that wraps up another edition of Norwood Digest. We thank the great guests that we had. We thank the great crew here at NCM. But mostly, we thank you at home for allowing us into your living rooms. Good day and keep safe.